Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Louise Hubar begins now.
Good evening. First tonight, doctors are warning Tasmanians should be prepared for a new wave of COVID in the coming months. Our state's cases have slowly risen in recent weeks, while some restrictions are being reintroduced on the mainland.
With COVID rearing its head, mainlanders are masking up. New South Wales now requiring one in hospitals and recommending them elsewhere. Daily cases there and in Victoria doubling in just a fortnight. Here in Tasmania, 318 cases per day were recorded in the week to Thursday. Our pandemic death toll now exceeds 200 after 2 more fatalities. Tasmania's Medical Association says it's not time to panic, but to be prepared.
If we look to the mainland, the trend is for increased numbers of COVID, so we've got to be ready.
The Premier says the government will follow health advice.
I would encourage all Tasmanians to be mindful and indeed continue with COVID-safe behaviours in the interests of keeping yourself safe and indeed the rest of the community.
Whatever the public health advice is going forward, we won't be playing politics with it, and we'll be accepting and understanding that it's in the best interest of Tasmanians.
Health experts say our hospitals don't have the same capacity as other states, making it crucial we act quickly.
We've still got a considerable number of people who haven't had their 3rd or 4th vaccination, so if there's an opportunity for you to get a vaccine, I would strongly encourage it.
Josh Duggan, 7 Tasmania News.
Premier Jeremy Rockliff has called for opponents of a proposed Mac Point Stadium to see the big picture. His federal colleagues Jonathan Duniam and Bridget Archer have spoken out against federal funding and the need for a stadium, but the Premier is resolute.
I am very pleased with the open-mindedness of the federal government in terms of the stadium and the opportunities that cultural, entertainment and arts precinct will provide for Tasmania.
Yesterday, the AFL announced an principle agreement on commercial terms had been reached for a Tasmanian side. Hobart's beloved Christmas pageant is back to normal numbers after a 2-year absence. Spectators young and old soaking up the merriment, with all eyes on a special guest from the North Pole.
Hobart alive with Christmas spirit.
Happy Merry Christmas!
Around 25,000 people lining the CBD's streets for the long-awaited 40th Christmas pageant.
The boys are pretty keen though. First time they've been, I'm pretty sure.
It's part of our tradition, so I think we're kind of, this means that we'll start putting up our Christmas trees.
Crowds scoping out the best angles to gaze over this year's range of festive floats, all 40 of them, each one brainstorming a unique way to journey the route ahead, from stilts and skates to BMX bikes and race cars travelling at a slower speed than they're used to. Others happy marching to the beat of their own drums. Everyone dressed up for the occasion. Even Darth Vader managed to dig out his Christmas hat. Meanwhile, it was Tasmania's fire service that jumped out as a fan favourite.
I've never seen these fireworks in my life. And I'm also looking forward to seeing the fire parade.
A range of different cultures also on display, but it was a certain man in red who stole the show. Some hoping to ask the hard-hitting questions.
I want to know how he sees all the kids in the world at once.
Others proving the Christmas spirit is something you never outgrow.
What about Santa Claus?
Excited. Oh yeah, so excited. Love Santa.
Brianna Boylan, 7 Tasmania News.
Tasmania's midwives and nurses have danced the night away at a ceremony recognising a year of hard work and dedication. Finalists across 5 categories taking the stage, but saying it's the entire sector that should be congratulated.
Powering through a year of long hours and relentless staffing issues.
The nurses and midwives that turn up every single day to care for our community are truly, truly heroes.
The state's healthcare workers receiving some well-deserved recognition at this year's Nursing and Midwifery Excellence Awards ceremony.
We believe nursing and midwifery is art and science in practice. And so when we talk about excellence, we're not just talking about clinical skills and knowledge, but we're talking about the art of what we do.
Hannah Yates taking the stage to accept the Early Career Midwife Leader Award.
No one day is ever the same, but what makes it so special is the journey that I walk alongside every day with women and their families.
Amanda Coulson is still riding a high after receiving an individual excellence in nursing and midwifery.
I actually still kind of don't feel like it was real, like it was a bit of a dream.
The pair say their successes wouldn't be possible without their dedicated teams.
You could have the knowledge and resources and skills in your head and be one person that can save a life or that can direct the room so that, you know, that patient is afforded the absolute best care. But if you're in that room by yourself, you cannot do that.
These two among many winners as the whole community sings the industry's praises. Brianna Boylan, 7 Tasmania News.
The future of Launceston's Safe Space site has been secured for 6 more months. The state government will fund 11 beds until June next year at a cost of more than $350,000. 33 beds are now available at the site. The program has beds across the state for those experiencing homelessness. Aiming to bring attention to the ongoing humanitarian crisis in Iran, protesters have marched in solidarity through Hobart. The West Asian country is facing an uprising after the arrest and subsequent death of a young woman for breaking the country's dress code. Hundreds of local protesters have died in recent months and many more arrested. A local partnership is hoping to end the scourge of family violence and raise funds for the White Ribbon campaign. The Women's Legal Service has teamed up with the Northern Tasmania Cricket Association in a bid to raise awareness around violence against women and children.
Cricket clubs are made up of men, women, children, families, so I think it's a really good place to start the conversation.
It's good to talk about and have the conversation rolling around the club and getting people educated.
Players have been asked to wear white armbands this weekend in support of the campaign and joined in on a presentation on the issue. Hobartians have been asked to help shape a new CBD Health Hub. Tasmanian not-for-profit insurer St Luke's Health is consulting on what should fill its new location in Hobart's CBD.
Somewhere where people can come and be educated on health, get information about health navigation or any information that they need to make sure that they can live their best lives.
The shop will be open for consultation on Monday and Tuesday. There's something special floating the boats of Bellreeve Yacht Club members. A new marina at Kangaroo Bay took 9 years to take from dream to reality, but now provides space for 210 vessels.
The old marina was actually deteriorating, so we had to replace a fair bit of it anyway. But it has given us some expansion. It's a lot safer. A lot of this is a floating marina. It's much easier for people to get on their boats.
The marina cost $5 million. Thousands have descended on Longford for the town's annual Blooms Festival. Green-thumbed locals have opened their gardens to members of the public for the weekend event, all for a good cause.
Spring has well and truly sprung at Longford. Crowds swarmed into town to savour the sights, sounds and scents of some of the area's most spectacular spaces.
Everyone's smiling, everyone loves gardens, and it's great to get out and have a look at other people's gardens and get inspiration.
It's Green Thumb Rick's second year showing off his cottage garden.
As much as I say I hate it, I actually enjoy it. I love seeing people come through, enjoying it, smelling the roses.
For some, the event is all about stopping and smelling those roses. But for others, it's all about snagging that hard-to-find plant. Shoppers leaving with armloads of rare blossoms.
Longford Blooms is getting known for the place to come if you want to find something special.
Visitors can also unearth tips and tricks from other plant enthusiasts.
And there's a lot of knowledge and information which is shared with the public as they wander around the gardens.
Originally established as a way to fundraise for an injured local, Longford Blooms now raises money for 2 charities.
It's just wonderful just to see our community and the Tasmanian community come along.
The Flowery Fund continues tomorrow. Annie Green, 7 Tasmanian News.
To NBL, Northern Jack Jumpers fans had their hearts broken in Launceston after a dominant 84-76 win by the New Zealand Breakers. Tensions boiled over in the fourth quarter in a fiery matchup that saw big man Will Magnay return after 32 games sidelined with injury. Captain Clint Seidel also suited up for a long-awaited return.
Both those guys will find their legs, bringing back the other guys in with them. Just really happy for those guys to be back out on the floor, and I know they loved every minute of last night.
It was a more peaceful scene this morning, with hundreds of club members turning out to rub shoulders with their basketball heroes for breakfast. The Jackies are back in action next Saturday, taking on Melbourne United. Tasmanian gymnast Matthew French's tilt at the Trampoline World Championship has come to an end. The debutant advanced to the semi-finals in Bulgaria after finishing 12th in the qualifying event. He finished in 8th spot after suffering a full 1-point landing penalty. His final score was 22.1. The USA won, scoring more than 30.
Good evening. Scott's Peak was the state's top at 23 today, Hobart and Launceston 21, Burnie 15 and Devonport reached 18. 22 at Grove and Bushy Park, King Island, Smithton, St Helens and Maria Island all reached 17, 16 at Low Head and Lyawini 11. A blanket of high-level cloud covered the state today, while a frontal cloud band approached the northwest of the state with more cloud over the eastern parts and parts of the Northern Territory, and scattered thunderstorms developed over South Australia, moving into Victoria and New South Wales. Tomorrow, a cold front is expected to clear from the east early in the morning, with a second approaching from the west in the afternoon, and a trough lingers over the north. Northeasterly winds of 20 to 30 knots, reaching up to 35 knots in the northwest and central north in the afternoon. There's a gale wind warning for the far northwest and central north coast, and a strong wind warning for remaining waters. A minor flood warning has been issued for the Macquarie River, and there's a flood watch for parts of the northwest, north and northeast catchments. Showers easing across the south tomorrow. Hobart and Richmond 18, 16 at Ooze. 18 in Launceston, showers in Devonport, Deloraine 16. Burnie and Strawn, showers and 15, and showers and windy at Curry. Showers easing and a top of 19 for St Helens and Swansea and 17 at Whitemark. And tomorrow's UV sits at very high 8s across the state. Showers with some hail on Monday, more frequent about the west, far south and Bass Strait Islands, with snowfall lowering to 500 metres in the evening. Similar conditions on Tuesday, with snowfalls to around 600 metres in the morning, and showers about the west and far south on Wednesday, mostly fine elsewhere. Mostly sunny in Cairns tomorrow, Sydney 29, showers in Melbourne and 37 in Broome. And right now in Hobart it's 16, Launceston 15 and Devonport rain and 14, and Lute looks like it's going to be another damp Sunday again.
And the rest of the week too, it looks like. Vic, thank you for that. That's all your news for now. Thank you for joining us this Saturday evening. Have a lovely night and we'll see you tomorrow. Good night.